All right, here we are back over at old Clayton's house. You can see we're taking so daggum long that the weeds are growing up. The dude needs to mow his grass. He's gonna start getting notices from the neighborhood. But yeah, so we realized that in our infinite wisdom, which, you know, there was a lot of debate about this going into it, but we're gonna add on here, digging these trenches was a terrible idea. So we are going to backfill a little more in here and then fill in this entire septic after we test it, and in the process fill in this entire thing. Our buddy Timmers is here. He's going to run an excavator tomorrow, and we're going to start completely fresh on this area, so that way he can cut off about 6 inches of soil all the way down, and then we'll trench out the trenches with a bucket on the side. And then yeah, we're gonna get this tested out in the morning and fill in this entire daggum thing, hopefully. What's up, dude?
That's it.
You gonna put in that washer tee? Hell yeah, brother.
So did you get the hydraulic cement?
No, I have not got that yet.
So we need to do that before we, I mean, we can put in the tee, but before we backfill, we need to put in the hydraulic cement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to seal the...
And reset the lid, probably.
But I think we'll probably have to do the hydraulic cement tomorrow because Brittany just left my truck, so she's not going to be back for a little bit. Or I'll
Take a different truck. You can drive a Miata.
Bro,
It's so much fun, dude. You're gonna fit so good.
Oh, how's it going, bud? What you doing there? You need a beer there, bud?
So I think this is the ideal, like, now we should have hydraulic cement. We should fill in the holes.
But this hole we need to put a pipe in.
Yeah.
It's not ready
But before we backfill this, we should do that.
Yeah, we got hydraulic cement that, and we can shove a water hose in it and see how she does.
yet. Let me ask you the question.
And the tank's full, so we can drop the hose directly to the tank to make sure the tank, as it gets more fluid, runs down this line like it's supposed to.
That we can do.
Yeah.
Well, right now it's going to go through that hole first. It's going to go that way.
Not if I tell it not to.
Because the whole tank is like this. The whole tank is like that. It's going to come that way first. Oh, wait, where's the level at?
Dude, it's that great. So that's what septic was all about.
It doesn't seem super level.
What do we got going on?
Well,
We got a computer engineer and an electrician, and they're putting in a septic.
Yeah.
We got a tilted septic tank.
Yep.
So now the outlet hole is higher than the inlet hole.
Yep.
So now we're cutting down on the outlet hole to
Yep.
make it lower than the inlet hole. And
And,
we're gonna,
how old is this septic tank?
It's daggum beautiful, boys.
from 67,
That's what it is.
It's a 67. So
It's a 67 model, yeah.
It's an early model.
early model.
Yep.
They don't make them like they used to, though.
It's cement, it's not plastic.
How's that grinder saw blade thing working?
Oh, good,
It's
dude.
doing
I
work.
got my hair dudes and my shades on.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, OSHA can't get me for nothing.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
This is a very OSHA certified workplace.
Yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
got an axe for knocking out stuff.
Okay, sweet. Just knocking it down to the bottom of the tank.
No,
No,
not
no,
gonna-
I'm going towards me. So, yeah. So I can just blow my shit out. you
Well,
know.
we gotta practice where the poop's gonna go. See how it settles at the bottom, you know?
You acting like a supervisor?
Yeah.
That's my
He's
job.
filming this for OSHA.
You're doing a terrible job at it.
No, I'm not. I'm about to go eat some crawfish. and have
Exactly.
Some beer, so
Exactly.
I'm doing great at it.
We're supposed to be working on the house. I would just, when you see Jason, be like, hey, this is this crazy plan they came up with and they think it's gonna work. What do you think?
Don't
How
tell
about
Jason.
I just have him text you?
How about don't tell Jason?
Who's Jason?
He builds houses. We don't need Jason to know about this. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, this is gonna work.
And then we got that
Yeah.
waterproof concrete. Someone's gonna come here and
Slap that in there.
slap that in there. It's really solid.
You might
Yeah.
even, like
That's better
drill
than
brush it a
stock.
little bit.
Oh,
Get it all cleaned
getting
up.
fancy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, so I say cut an inch below the water.
Call it good, right?
Yeah, then we can go get some water for drinking and maybe put some hose water in there and make sure that the science and things are working.
Well, do we need to, once the pipe goes in, do we need to check grade
Yeah, absolutely.
on the feed pipe to the D box?
Yeah.
because we're about to drop that
'cause
significantly.
It's going down. I mean, quite a bit.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a whole
got it
thing.
on block, so you can
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
right
This is gonna be an ordeal, but like not a huge one. A much less or bigger ordeal than digging that tank out and replacing it. Yeah. All right, let's see what you've been doing this whole time. Oh my God, that is sketch.
Get here. And you just go
Right at yourself. Okay.
All right, get over here.
Oh, dude, that fucking septic dust smells bad.
Oh yeah, that's definitely got silica and all that. What's that stuff that gives you mesothelioma? Oh gosh. Asbestos?
Yeah, asbestos. Yeah,
Trying to
you
figure
did
out-
good
Oh,
work.
dude, that looks like y'all got a professional out here.
We did.
Oh yeah.
Dude, this sun is brutal. Somehow it's like leaking in behind my sunglasses and
Yeah.
like burning my face. All right, finally finished the septic-ish. Got some ground to walk on now, that's nice. There's still a puddle there, I don't know what's up with that, but. All right, what's going on here?
We are putting hose water into the tank to make sure that it goes out into the leach field. The tank was already full of rainwater when we started, and it's been running for about 35 minutes. So we've probably put, I don't know, 160 gallons in it so far.
Interesting number.
That's my Google math.
Google Math.
It's 6 gallons a minute. No idea if that's accurate.
That's an interesting number.
It seems right?
It actually feels right. It feels right. Or at least close to. Wow, look at this. Level ground, no more trenches and holes and nonsense. All right, so if we look in these inspection holes, can we see down in there? Oh, I see water. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I see it down there. Okay. I'm gonna stamp it functioning, man. I don't see any wet spots on the ground yet. Seems like it's all getting where it's supposed to be.
Since every chamber's getting water, I guess the D-box didn't get crushed. So
That would be my thought, and it's distributing. Heck yeah, man. So what lessons have we learned?
make sure your tank's level.
Yeah, that's number one. So the reason this got set back so hard, right? I don't actually know if I have any of that on video, but it's still exposed, so we can come up here and show it.
Rather, don't assume that the last person that put the tank in put it level, or that it hasn't settled in 60 years.
Yeah. So if you're trying to do this repair on your own, we went backward, I think. I think you want to start at the tank, right? So the biggest run-in we had is if you see all the mortar there on the tank, right? The tank settled and was unlevel, so the intake hole from the house septic was higher than the output hole.
Yes.
Which isn't going to work. But we put our entire leach field in before we got here and realized this. So we ultimately decided to just lose a little volume of tank and chisel this out to make it work, drop this pipe down. We had to regrade our entire run, so that way it had the appropriate 1/8 inch drop per foot or whatever, but we went with a 1/4.
Yeah, and the way we did it is we got 2-inch concrete saw blades, and then we just sliced down like 1 inch and then across, and then use like the back of an axe to like chisel it out, and down a little bit more and across. We didn't have a transient or anything, so we couldn't figure out exactly where it needed to be, but the tank was full of rainwater, which gave us a level line. So because it was full, we took this all the way down to the point where we were sitting at water, and then we bucketed off some water so we could dig a little bit deeper, and then we basically visually from the water level were able to see that we were 1 inch below the inlet hole. So we lost a little bit of volume, but now that outlet is in the right spot. And then we repaired it with hydraulic cement. And yeah, and if you kind of look at, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but the tank is now, it's way off level and it's tilted towards the house. So even if it was installed correctly, over time it has started to sink towards the house, which was probably a significant contributor to the original septic problems.
Oh, definitely.
Because if we
Definitely
would have
significant
left it,
contributor.
if we would have left it as is, then water would have had to back up in the pipe to the house until it got to the same height as the exit hole.
Equilibrium would have been way up here somewhere, which means all of your poops and solids would have been sitting there waiting for enough water to come through to push it. And in your setup, that amount of water would most likely never show up unless you took like a real long shower or something, because this line over here, the reason this is still not filled in, that's for the washing machine. So we're running the washing machine straight to the leach field to skip the tank, so that way you don't get soaps and suds in there to kill bacteria or bleach or anything else. That's all going to run through and basically just wash out your pipe and run into your leach field. So the only thing left here is once we get this formed up, right, which we'll tackle the forming and the concrete in a future video, but once this gets formed up, then we'll run the drains to the bathroom that's going to be in the addition and the utility room for the washer, which will come over here. And once this is all stubbed out, we can finally bury all of this. So it'll be buried for good. We got to reset the lid when we do that and cap off that secondary leach field line that's over there when the lid's back off for that final time. But we'll run the last inlet pipe here, right here, hydraulic cement that in on the inlet, get all of the attachments done, clean off this lid and get it set appropriately, and then voila, put that dirt on that. We'll be back to flat ground, you know, before we know it. You should probably mow though at some point.
And even more further confirmation that our original trenches don't drain any water.
Yeah.
Been sitting there for days.
Days. Yeah. Original trench, dude. So this septic system took what? In a recap, what did we learn? One. First things first. Do a percolation test. We didn't run the percolation test, so we dug all of our trenches in a terrible location first. So we had to redo everything from that point. Right. 2. Check your tank first before you start doing any leach fields, right? Because our tank was unlevel and it had needed a ton of adjustment. 3, once all that's done, then you can dig your leach field and check your grade before you start laying everything.
Yep.
So make sure you're, depending on the length of your run, you got to get a minimum 1/8 of an inch of grade down per foot, right? But you want a quarter. So in our case, that elevation was much lower than the elevation up here, so that helps just in general. So we didn't have to go much deeper back there than it was up here, just a little bit.
It's also much easier to, you don't want to, we glued the whole pipe to the leach field together first and graded it after.
Yeah.
It would behoove you to grade it as you glue it together.
Yes.
It makes it easier. For
sure. That was a pain. I would say don't over dig it, because backfilling under the pipe once it's graded sucked.
Yep.
There's a lot of shovel work before you start using the heavy equipment. I'd also say the infiltrators are actually badass. Right, infiltrator units, highly recommend. The science seems to be there. They're filling up with water. They're doing what they're supposed to do right now. Heck yeah. Oh, here's another one that we did not do that would make life a heck of a lot easier, right? Is I'll just like take a screenshot of something from earlier. We put our D-box in a really dumb location. So like if you do a 3-finger leach field like we did, you want to put your D-box centered to the center line, so you don't have to run a bunch of twisty adaptees and long runs to maintain grade, because that was a pain. Yeah. So if your D-box is moved over to the center, right, then one finger goes left, one finger goes right, and one goes straight forward. So that would have been a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah.
What else did we screw up along this process or not think of? I feel like there's more. Hydraulics.
Try to do it fast enough where it doesn't rain and fill all your trenches.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
That'll eat some time up.
Yeah, your trenches being full of water is no fun. I feel like the hydraulic cement, we learned you don't want to mix the whole bag right out of the gate because it dries real fast.
Yeah.
Do little bits at a time, because especially if you have to do, if anybody ever has to do what we did, I feel terrible for you. But you know, if you're filling in that big of a patchwork hole in that concrete thing, you're basically playing Picasso at that point, or Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Well, all in all, I think we have a functioning leach field. It only took like what, 8 months?
Yeah, it took a while.
You could have had a baby by now, Clayton. Hey, at least you didn't destroy all the D-box like we thought there was a possibility of.
Yeah. It's another pro tip. Be very careful driving over this stuff, especially if you're using a tractor.
Yeah.
Excavator's a little bit more
Excavator has more force distribution across the tracks. He had 2 small points directly over the D-box yesterday, which made us very concerned as the ground was sinking and he was packing it in. But it turned out good, man. It's running, it's flowing, everything's working as intended. She should be able to take the poops, dude. Hell yeah. I mean, I will say the septic, the way that a single tank septic works is so simple that like we kept not hitting catastrophe because logically you can just look at it and be like, well, that's going to be an issue. Like this port, you know what I mean? Like when we came after it rained and the trenches still had a bunch of water in them, it's like, this is all pretty logical. So it's not like, at least we're able to figure it out without filling everything in and hitting straight catastrophe.
If we didn't catch the inlet problem,
if we didn't catch that problem, that would have been catastrophic for sure. And I think Tim caught it. I don't even think we noticed until he said that.
I don't know.
So
we really only noticed because we let the tank fill up with water.
Yeah.
In the rain.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe fill your tank with the lid off. That's probably good if you don't know what you're doing, just to make sure everything works.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I mean, we've how many times have we actually tested this system now, though? I mean, with all that rainwater, we tested it multiple times, and it's like this is just kind of the final testing period because we wanted to make sure whenever all the dirt went back on top, nothing got busted or broken. But I mean, it's had water down it multiple times already.
Yeah.
We've hosed down it multiple times to make sure it runs downhill into the chambers, the D-box works appropriately. But we wanted to do one final long test now that all the dirt's back on top and everything's going to be basically untouched from this point. I mean, we just literally got to cut those and cap those, all those inspection ports now. And then the leach field is legitimately stamped finished. But all right, back with concrete. Maybe we'll do a fence repair video. Pretty sure Clayton knocked that fence down with a tractor.
It's not even possible.
You hit it with the bucket, bro. I know you did.